congratulations, you've made it to the end of Chapter 1. So now I've got some questions for you to check your understanding. What are the 3 domains of chemistry? I'll give you 3 seconds to pause the video, think about it, and then answer it. So the 3 domains of chemistry, let me go back to what we were talking about early on. Okay, the domains of chemistry. Macroscopic, microscopic, and symbolic. You can touch the macroscopic. You can't touch the microscopic. Those could be ions. You can't touch the literal atoms. You can only touch, for instance, glass. That's what we talked about. Symbolic combines the two. You could be talking about both at the same time. All right, question number 2. Let's see what I said for the second question. I said, what is matter and what's the difference between mass versus weight? 3 seconds to answer. Okay, so matter, let me find it. We talked about matter taking up space and having volume, and mass is the amount of matter, and then weight is the force of gravity exerted on that weight, and the mass is the amount of matter. Again, mass is the generally accepted way of measuring anything in the chemistry world. All right, next question. This is good review. What is an atom versus a molecule? 3 seconds to answer. So, an atom versus a molecule. We talked about it right here. Atoms and molecules. Atoms are the smallest particles of an element, whereas molecules are two or more atoms bonded together. And atoms are the building blocks of matter. They're literally the smallest, really, elements. Elements in the literal definition. Building blocks, again, of matter. As we put it. Hopefully you got that. All right, next question. Physical, chemical changes and properties. What are those? 3 seconds to answer. Okay, physical and chemical properties. Those are, a physical property is no chemical change, whereas a chemical property is a chemical change. Gave a few examples of that. You can go back and watch previous lessons if you would like to see that. And then we moved on to physical and chemical changes. No change in composition for physical changes, whereas chemical changes have new substances produced. All right, next question. This is a really good review. What are intensive and extensive properties? When I was going back here, not here, right here. Anyway, intensive and extensive properties. Intensive properties do not depend on matter, whereas extensive properties depend on the amount of matter, i.e. mass and volume. Space and mass, space meaning volume and mass. And then intensive could be luster, melting point, color, boiling point, any kind of that. All right. Let's keep going with this review. It's a very good review. What are the temperature conversions? Okay, here's where we talked about that. Temperature, Fahrenheit, Celsius, Kelvin. Kelvin is equal to Celsius plus 273. And then Fahrenheit is equal to 9/5 Celsius plus 32. Celsius is equal to Fahrenheit minus 32 times 5/9. It's important to note we got the parentheses here. And then you multiply by 5/9. All right, I hope you remembered those. They are important. Let's move back to the questions. What are significant figures? Okay, significant figures. There are any digits that contribute to the value. So more significant figures, meaning more precise. So I'm not going to go through all these rules, but hopefully you understand 1.234 is 4 significant figures. And hopefully you remember the addition or subtraction, you drop the line. And the multiplication and division, you just count how many there are and round to that number. All right, next up. What is dimensional analysis? Okay, dimensional analysis. There are conversion factors to convert between units. Remember, I had the 5 trucks, and we knew that and then we knew that the one truck had 5 crates, so we said one truck on the bottom here, 5 crates on the top. We just multiplied and got 25. So again, there are conversion factors to convert between units. And lastly, what is density? Another important, very important question. It's right here. Density, mass per volume. Remember my handy dandy chart right there. Multiplication and division. DMV. So there it is. Those are all the questions. I will come back for a conclusion video.